What if the moon was replaced by Mars? Okay, this question comes from Priya, who asks, what if the moon was suddenly replaced by Mars? Sounds like a simple swap, right? Just pluck out our familiar silvery neighbor and slot the red planet into its spot. How different could it really be? Let's assume some cosmic entity, maybe bored or particularly fond of red, performs this astronomical switcheroo overnight. We wake up, look up, and see Mars hanging there, significantly larger and distinctly ruddy. First shock. The size. Mars isn't just a bit bigger than the Moon, it's over twice the diameter, and crucially, about 9 times more massive. Imagine looking up and seeing a disk 4 times wider than the Moon you knew, dominating the sky. Its rusty deserts, faint polar caps, and maybe even hints of Valles Marineris would be visible to the naked eye. Forget needing a telescope, Martian geology becomes prime-time sky-watching. Forget moonlight strolls, we'd have Mars light, a dimmer, eerie, reddish glow bathing everything. Nights would be darker overall, but painted in unsettling shades of ochre and blood. But the real terror starts with the tides. Tides are driven by gravity, and gravity depends on mass and distance. Mars is much heavier than the Moon, but it's also sitting in the Moon's old orbit, relatively close. The increased gravitational pull from Mars would be immense. Forget the gentle rise and fall we know, would be facing megatides. Coastal cities? Obliterated within hours, think waves hundreds of meters high crashing inland, not just at the shore, but reaching deep into continents. The Thames Barrier, the sea walls of Tokyo, the levees of New Orleans, reduced to speed bumps against this Martian-induced deluge. The initial sloshing of the oceans as they adjusted to the new gravitational master would be apocalyptic. Tsunamis of unprecedented scale would scour coastlines globally. Then comes the wobble. The Earth-Moon system is a finely balanced dance. The Moon acts like a gyroscope, stabilizing Earth's axial tilt. This tilt gives us our relatively stable seasons. Mars, being significantly more massive, throws this balance into chaos. Earth would begin to wobble erratically on its axis, like a spinning top, losing momentum. Imagine seasons becoming utterly unpredictable. One year, the Arctic might point directly at the sun for months, baking into a desert. The next, it might barely see any sunlight, plunging into deep freeze. Agricultural cycles collapse. Ecosystems evolved over millennia for predictable patterns face extinction-level chaos. The concept of spring planting or winter harvest becomes meaningless. Climate zones vanish, replaced by a global lottery of extreme heat, cold, drought, and deluge. And let's talk about that red sky. Mars is red because its surface is covered in iron oxide dust, rust. A lot of that dust is incredibly fine and easily lifted. Sitting so close to Earth, bathed in solar wind and micrometeorite impacts, Mars would constantly shed a thin haze of this dust into the space around it. Earth, orbiting through this newly formed, diffuse Martian ring, would gradually accumulate this red dust in its upper atmosphere. Over time, sunrises and sunsets wouldn't just be red. The entire sky would take on a permanent, hazy copper-penny tint during the day. At night, the stars would dim, filtered through this rusty veil. Air quality? Forget smog alerts, we'd be dealing with global, high-altitude rust deposition. Breathing might feel gritty, and good luck keeping solar panels clean. Forget crisp blue skies, our new normal would be a perpetual, sickly twilight. The gravitational disruption goes beyond tides and wobble. Mars's stronger pull would yank harder on Earth's crust itself. We'd likely see a significant uptick in volcanic activity and earthquakes as the planet's tectonic plates, stressed by the new, uneven gravitational forces grind and slip more violently. Forget the big one. We'd be entering an era of constant seismic unrest. Magma chambers, squeezed by the changing stresses, could erupt in unexpected places. The planet itself would become geologically furious. Finally, the cosmic billiards. Sticking Mars into the Moon's orbit isn't stable. The combined gravitational influences of the Sun, Jupiter, and even Venus on this new, much heavier object would be immense. Mars wouldn't just sit there obediently. Its orbit would likely become unstable, eccentric, perhaps even chaotic over time. It might drift closer, amplifying all the tidal and gravitational disasters exponentially, or it might drift further, but with unpredictable jerks and tugs, constantly disturbing Earth's own orbit around the Sun and exacerbating the axial wobble. Our place in the solar system would become precarious. We might find ourselves nudged into a slightly different orbit, changing the amount of solar energy we receive and adding another layer of climate chaos on top of the seasonal insanity. The clock would be ticking on a truly catastrophic orbital resonance event, or even a collision course millennia down the line. So, replacing the Moon with Mars? It's not an upgrade, it's a one-way ticket to a hellscape. We'd trade serene moonlight for apocalyptic tides, stable seasons for climate roulette, blue skies for a rusty haze, and a solid planetary footing for constant quakes and volcanic fury. Our familiar night sky companion would be replaced by a beautiful, terrifying, crimson harbinger of geological and climatic doom. Priya's question reveals a profound truth. Our pale moon isn't just decoration. It's a silent, essential guardian of Earth's delicate balance. Swap it for Mars, and that balance isn't just broken. It's pulverized under the weight of a red giant in our sky. The only real estate booming would be Martian, and we wouldn't be around to sell it.